I wanted to ask something about what you've written about recently, Michael Isikoff in NEWSWEEK, and that is how many CIA agents are now buying insurance, afraid that they could be sued.
Yeah, and that relates to the aggressive interrogation practices that the CIA was using against al-Qaeda suspects. And in fact, in one of those cases, it ties directly in to the selling of the war in Iraq. And we talk about that in great detail in this book. In fact, we have a load of new details about the case of Ibn Sheikh al-Libi, who was the first major al-Qaeda commander who was captured in Afghanistan. Was originally interrogated by the FBI. The FBI thought they were making progress with him. They were viewing him as a potential witness in a court case. They were affording him they were treating him as somebody who might someday come in a courtroom, so they were treating him with a measure of respect and not stepping over the line. The CIA gets control of Ibn Sheikh al-Libi, takes him away from the FBI, and then sends him to Egypt, where he is rather brutally interrogated. In fact, new details about the brutal interrogation of Ibn Sheikh al-Libi have come out just in recent days. We talk about it in the book as well. And then after being interrogated by the Egyptians, Ibn Sheikh al-Libi tells the story that he hadn't told the FBI before, but now tells Egyptian interrogators that al-Qaeda had sent operatives to Iraq for training in chemical and biological warfare training. This report from Ibn Sheikh al-Libi is doubted within the U.S. intelligence community. In fact, there's a memo in which the DIA says it's likely he's just telling interrogators what he thinks they want to hear. Yet it is used by the administration in a crucial way. In fact, it becomes the prime evidence for what Secretary Powell later calls at the UN the sinister nexus between Iraq, al-Qaeda, and WMD. And Powell refers to the Ibn Sheikh al-Libi allegations in his speech to the UN. After the war, Ibn Sheikh al-Libi is transferred back from Egypt into CIA custody, and he recants the entire story, acknowledges he made up the whole thing because of the brutal interrogation practices that were being used against him. I told them what they wanted to hear. I had to say that if I wanted to live. That's what Ibn Sheikh al-Libi says. And the CIA withdraws all the reporting that it got from Ibn Sheikh al-Libi. Says, never mind, not true. This whole story about Osama sending operatives to Saddam for training in chemical biological warfare was false, and it was extracted under torture. This is probably the single most dramatic example of how these sorts of interrogation techniques don't work. They don't get you reliable information.